Hi, good evening. This is Krishangi Radhe, Sankalpa Coaching with Krishangi Radhe, NLP practitioner, timeline therapist, women and children empowerment coach, educator, public relations practitioner, and I am here to come live on the 22nd of April, where we are on lockdown in South Africa. It's a series of my lives that I've been sharing with you. This is an impromptu one, an unannounced one. And I'll just wait for a few more to get onto the live with me. And in the meantime, I will share this on my other pages as well so that we could have a great reach because it's universal topics that we're talking about this evening. More especially that, as time runs away and we may not even know ourselves, that today, the 22nd of April, when many people around the world isn't experiencing lockdown and quarantining, the 22nd of April is Earth Day. And did you know that? Because when we are so focused on actually what's going on with the pandemic and keeping safe and so on, and just trying to manage the days as best as we can, we tend to forget the calendar days. We even tend to forget the days of the week sometimes, and that's so totally natural, especially when we are now on day 26 here in South Africa, and we're looking forward to more announcements as to what's going to be happening in terms of our current situation, our health and safety measures, and so on. So today being Earth Day, I just thought it was mindful for me to come on and share in terms of the world, in terms of how Earth Day has actually become so prominent. It is the 50th anniversary this year in 2020, and it's interesting, or rather ironic, where we cannot really celebrate this day in public gatherings. Normally what would happen is that we'd be able to plant a tree, or we'd be able to, run massive campaigns where we could honor this day or remember what we can do to save the world. But here we are on lockdown, we are in terms of quarantining, self-isolating and so on, and the earth becomes even more on our mind. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so that we are becoming cognizant of the fact that we are very, very much dependent on everything around us, and that our lives have to become far more mindful. You would see, just as I have, that the rivers are clean, the sky is blue, there's no air traffic at the moment. We could see the mountains. Hello, welcome to the live. Just drop me a comment. Tell me who you are, where in the world you're watching from. I'd love to know. And that's the power of sharing on social media in this way. I've done lives for over a year now, and the real-time connection and also being saved as a replay for those who cannot catch it live is wonderful. So our greater reach, hi Lisa. Thanks for watching. Our greater reach is amazing in terms of our social media connections. So tell me who you are and you're watching. How are you spending your time with your family or by yourself? Are you working from home? And what is this lockdown looking like and feeling like for you? I'm talking mindfulness this evening, and I'm talking, for those who follow me, for those who are my coaching clients, for those who follow my blogs and my columns, you'd know that I'm a conscious living mindfulness activist, right? If that's what you want to call it. Hi there. So when we're looking at mindfulness, and please drop a comment also, we're looking at what action or what's going on within our mind. What's really going on? And being mindful, what does that mean? Being mindful means that we are aware of what's going on in our mind. Now, I'm just going to ask you to place yourself, you are watching this live, okay, because I can see my viewers are on. You are sitting and possibly looking at this on your device or your PC, but there could be several other things that's taking place within your mind at the same time. I'm talking, you're listening, some of you are interacting, but there's a lot of noise within your mind space. So Being mindful is actually being consciously present. That is what mindfulness is. When we look at, when we talk about mindfulness, Ashen, thank you for joining. So when we talk about mindfulness, when we talk about this word conscious living, or we talk about mindfulness, we somehow don't even get into understanding what mindfulness means. Lisa, yes, absolutely. And I write columns. I've been writing for a local newspaper for I think about 2 years now, and it's conscious living. But what is this? Mindfulness is Shamkutir, welcome. So when we're talking about mindfulness, we are talking about engaging with our mind, knowing our emotions, identify what we're feeling, and being present. That is super important, because many things in our relationships actually go wrong because we are not present. And I'm sure you've heard this previously, that when you are in communication, when you are talking to your child, whether you're talking to your partner or so on, and you're engaging in some sort of discussion, but you are rather thinking about how should I respond rather than listening to what the other person is saying. And that's so natural. So being mindful is actually being conscious, being present as to where you at. So if I'm engaging in this conversation, or if you're watching this live, I'm going to invite you to say, please be consciously present, so that you would be able to get the most benefit of this Facebook Live at the moment. So welcome once again to all those watching. And we're talking mindfulness, we're talking Earth Day, and becoming more mindful in terms of our living, our relationship with the earth, our relationship with our family, our relationship to ourselves. Now, what I would like to say in terms of mindfulness, and the message that I'd like to leave you with this evening, is that yes, lockdown will end and life would return to, it would be different. Of course, we would be different in many aspects of our lives. However, we have had goals for this year. Right? I'm sure I have goals, our children possibly have goals. We are so concerned about what's happening with our education system at the moment. When will children return to schools? We're really battling with homeschooling and working from home at the moment. We're not used to the new norms that have been set for almost 2 months now. So all of that is very much in our minds, and it is a very real situation. However, I invite you to actually look beyond the lockdown period. This will end, okay? But I invite you to actually now take a moment, or this evening, or whatever time it is in the world for you, take a moment to actually consider the goals that you have set for yourself at the beginning of the year. If you have not set those goals yet, maybe this is a good time for you to start plotting or writing some goals for yourself. So when we're looking at goals, it could be personal goals, it could be financial goals, it could be family goals, it could be couple goals, you know, the whole hashtag couple goals. It could be health goals, fitness goals, weight goals, spiritual goals, okay? Just having more family time, whatever that looks like for you. Take that time now, and I'm sure that during this period, you've had quite a lot of time to drop me a comment if you're watching, and tell me where you are in the world. I'm just looking and scrolling through the comments, and ask questions, because these live sessions are really powerful when you engage and ask questions that you may have. So when we're looking at those goals, we're looking at actually interacting on that level of thinking, being mindful. What would I like to achieve? Now it doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be in terms of something so big. It could be short goals. It could be long-term goals. But remember what needs to happen. You need to be mindfully focused on saying, this is what I want to achieve. If you don't do that, if you don't sit and at least make that goal statement to say, this is what I would like to achieve, nothing would ever happen. So by doing that and understanding that lockdown will end, and I think I'm going to be quite clear about that, I have been doing blogs and posts around that, where we also now need to start shifting our mindset in terms of welcoming the new reality, in terms of reframing our thoughts, in terms of reprogramming our mind, in terms of actually restarting when the world is finally in its new norm. How are you going to go out there, and what would you like to achieve? How are you assisting your children in terms of understanding what they need to achieve as the year goes on? It's never going to be the same. This year is going to hold far more uncertainty over and above this period. So this may be a good time within your home, and I'm going to emphasize this, that goals shared within the family or your partner are much easier to achieve. Having personal goals is wonderful, but when you share those goals, when you speak to a friend, when you speak to your partner, when you actually share those goals, it becomes far more real. You get the support. Sometimes, I'm going to just give you a simple example. You could have a weight goal, or you could have a fitness goal, and you could be doing it in isolation. Okay, excuse the pun. You could be doing it in isolation without your partner, without your family knowing. But if you get that, if you share that goal with them, you'd be amazed at the support that they may offer. That achieving that goal will become so much easier, so much clearer. Maybe they'd want to join you on your journey. But if you don't share those goals, you'd never receive that support. So step number one would actually be taking this time now, during lockdown, during quarantining, whatever it is, to be mindful of what I would like to achieve when I step out to the world again. Or going back to those goal statements from January this year and saying, now I have managed, I'm at home for 2 months. I haven't been good at my fitness. I haven't been able to progress much professionally, whatever it may be. How do I restart? How do I reframe to still achieve that goal, but also tweak it at the moment so that you would still be able to achieve whatever you wanted to at the beginning of the year, whatever you are now going to state, so that you would be able to still be productive. I'm going to take you through a few steps right now, and if you want to grab a pen and paper, but if not, this is always on the replay that you could go back and watch it. And please, I also invite you once again to share this live with others that you may find who need to hear this in terms of moving forward. We get stuck so very easily. We get stuck in bad relationships. We get stuck in a job that we may not be happy about or being there. We get stuck in terms of just our own mindset issues, feeling very low. We may feel unworthy. We may lose our self-confidence due to our experiences in life, and we become just stuck. So when we're looking at stuck, we are sitting at home for a good reason, but we should not have the mindset of being stuck at home. We should not have that mindset of actually saying, I'm stuck. What do? I could not achieve this. I could not go to work. How do we now propel ourselves and move forward for the time that we can go out, for the time that we can achieve our fitness goals, that we can go back to the office, that we can achieve our personal and professional goals? What about our children? So when we're looking at that, I want to share a few things that may be beneficial in terms of the growth mindset, right? And that growth mindset is super important, especially at this time. Do not be stagnant with your thoughts. Do not feel that you are claustrophobic within the home, because remember, the mind has a power of its own, and who can give that power? Who can give the energy to that mind? It's you. So when we're looking at growth mindset, we're saying develop, look above and beyond today. Look beyond lockdown. Look beyond quarantining. So I'm saying that this is our beautiful time that we have to give ourselves the time that we generally don't get. We could be so busy in the cycle of our daily routines. Use this time to now actually connect with yourself mindfully. Pitambar, welcome to the live. Okay, so I'm looking at being very specific. It's super important to be specific. As a coach, I can tell you very clearly that so many people want to achieve things, and you may have a plan to achieve it, but when you are not specific, your plan may not be what your outcome will be, right? You need to be clear, absolutely clear and specific. You need to know, this is what I would like to achieve. Of course, it has to be real. Of course, it has to be achievable within that given time frame. So a simple example then, if we're talking weight, we want to lose some weight and we're saying, I'm going to lose 5 kilos in 4 weeks. Is it practically possible? Okay, and you're going to have to look at that yourself based on various factors, of course. Your body type, your eating habits, your exercise routines, whether you have pre-existing health conditions and so on. So set those goals very clearly. However, at the same time, allow it to be measurable. How are you going to account for those goals? Again, our accountability comes from working with a coach. Accountability comes when you're sharing those goals with your family. And I see there's so many people on this live. Please tell me who you are. I'd love to chat to you whilst we're on. Okay, so when we're looking at that, we need to know, we need to be super clear about our outcome. What do we want to achieve? Write it down, even if it means physically writing down a goal statement as we do with our children. Do that, okay? Be mindful of what you want to achieve. The next one is take the necessary action. Now, having that goal statement and being super clear, but without any action, that's not going to be useless, right? So take the necessary action. Now, although we are on lockdown, you can pen and you can mind map this whole thing out. So when you are out there again, you can start planning, you could start journaling, you could start, if you want to take an online course at the moment, if you want to do more reading. Spiritual goals are incredibly important during lockdown. We have the time. Many of us do have the time to read more, to meditate more, to connect with our inner beings more consciously. So this is the time where you need to actually look at taking the necessary steps. It certainly does not mean that because we are in this environment at the moment that we cannot grow. And I've been growing personally, within this past 5 to 6 weeks. I've had 2 private Facebook groups that have been so super successful. I've done an online training for mums that I've had really great feedback on. It's just been a time for personal growth, but you would need to want to have that mindset in order to achieve the best of this time. You could either make that choice to say, I'm going to feel stuck because I can't do anything physically going out at this time, or I'm going to spin it around and say, I'm going to grow within this time. The choice remains yours. That's what we're talking about mindfulness. So we said, know your outcome, be super specific about what you want to achieve, whether it's personal goals, financial goals, professional goals. If you have targets to meet, be specific about it. The next one is take the necessary action. Even now, it does not mean that we are in this time that you have to feel stuck. You can take action. You just have to be creative depending what goal you have. The third one is sensory acuity, our senses, being aware, and mindfulness comes in there also. Being aware of our senses, being aware, are we achieving what we want to achieve? Being honest with yourself. Sometimes as much as we want to achieve goals, but it's not practically possible. And you have to be in tune with your senses, sensory acuity, where we are aware of that to say, okay, this goal is not quite working out according to the way I've mapped it. So that comes to the next point number 4, flexibility. How are we going to be flexible? Of course, I've had goals at the beginning, January 2020. I had goals to say what I'd like to achieve, and come mid-February, 5th of March, I think, here in South Africa, we had our first announced case of a positive COVID-19 patient. And then the world became, Vasanta, welcome to the live. And then the world just began looking differently for us here in South Africa. So when we're talking goals, we have to be flexible. It's really in any relationship, even in any environment, there has to be room for flexibility. If you are not going to be flexible, you are going to be stuck and you're not going to achieve that. So a recap: know your outcome, super clear and super specific, even if it is in a goal statement. Share that goal with those that you love and those that you trust. Take action, okay? Measurable action where you can have accountability and you can also map it out. The next one is sensory acuity, where I'm talking about touching base with your senses and knowing, is this working? Is it not working? And then we're looking now at flexibility. Hi guys, and drop me a comment. Tell me what your goals are. Have you been still managing to achieve them? Have you been stuck at the moment? Do you feel really demotivated at the moment? Or are you on the other end of the scale where you're saying, I'm super motivated. I've had time to reprogram. I've had time to reset my mind. I've had time to relax. So tell me where you are at also with the goals. And then we want to adjust based on your flexibility. We need to readjust, we need to tweak. And for myself, like for many of you possibly, we need to tweak, we need to adjust the goal map in order to now adjust after lockdown, or what we've possibly achieved or not, since I think we've just paused there. We're then looking at, operating on a mode of excellence. We need to actually operate psychologically and physiologically on a mode of excellence. When we're looking at whatever it is, whether it's psychologically, your mindset, whether it's physiologically means your sleep and your energy, your rest, your food, and so on. We are looking at, having to have that physiological need complete so that you could psychologically fulfill your goals too. You have to have that balance, but it has to be a state of excellence. It has to be, you have to always operate and configure your mind in terms of wanting to achieve your best. So coming back to what we were saying about Earth Day and seeing how the world is looking and feeling beautiful, feeling different. We are getting in touch with nature again. We're helping the planet by staying at home. We are helping each other by staying at home. We are staying safe to save each other and ourselves in the process. But use this time for mindful engagement with your family. I share my goals with my family. I share my goals with those who are closest to me. And in that way, my children know, my daughters know, these are mom's coaching goals. These are mom's professional goals. This is what they know about my life. Okay. Lisa, let me tell you, I haven't had the time to relax as yet, as it's still work as normal, but from home. I know I've received your email today, Lisa, so I know that you're still busy at work, and it's become a lot to juggle with work and family and teaching my daughter as well. This is just such an amazing period. Let me just chat to about that for a while. I've done a whole positive parenting for moms, and it was a 4-day training over Easter weekend. And when I put that out there, and I wondered for a moment, hi Ankit, thank you, and I see that you're also doing amazing work, Ankit, during this time, so keep going also. So when we're looking at I was thinking, should I put it out there over the Easter weekend? And I said, well, everybody needs help at the moment, and being a teacher and being a mom myself and being an NLP coach, it's just such a super combination to help those moms like yourself, Lisa, who are staying at home. And I know that you are so busy also, because you have to meet your professional goals in the process. So when we're looking at trying to teach your little daughter I've got two of my own. My one is in grade 7. So that means that she's actually an exit level this year. For those in South Africa, you'd understand better, to go to high school or secondary school. So the pressure's on. But whether they're going to buy our children, whether they're buying into this idea of homeschooling, because in South Africa, we're not quite used to that, that becomes a challenge on its own. That helping your child change their mindset is a challenge on its own. So you've got your work, you've got your meeting, you've got I know, Lisa, you've got a little girl to manage. She's not an older one. You've got a toddler running around, and you've got your deadlines or your Zoom meetings and so on, and everything's on the go. I have written a couple of pieces to help you and everybody else. I'll put the link in the comments later on. But one thing I want to just emphasize based on that topic in terms of being at home is that try to maintain routine for yourself and for your family. By now we're on like day 26, so there should be hopefully some sort of routine happening in the process, right? Because this is not so new to us. So we are looking at a new routine. However, mums out there and those who are finding this a struggle, like myself also, we know that every day is a new day. What worked yesterday possibly would work today. What didn't work yesterday, you can retry today with a little tweak. So when we're talking about flexibility in terms of your goals, so you want to homeschool your daughter, you want to work at the same time, you know what didn't work yesterday in that whole scenario. Tweak it, be flexible. And although you want to achieve 100%, be happy with 80%. If 80% of your new scene at home or your new routine at home went well, celebrate that success. Reward your child, whatever it may be at the moment in your house. So work with rewards. Rewards work a charm. It's not bribery. It's not, even for yourself. When we're talking not only children or homeschooling, it's not bribery. And I say this so often to moms that I've coached in my live training, is rewards are genuine. You know, if you tell your child, let's sit and work out this maths for 20 minutes, be realistic also with time frames with the little ones, and then this will be your time. So understanding and keeping that balance, maintaining your sanity is very important at this time, and also being real. So don't try and achieve 100% every day. You know, our home environment is not conducive to perfect learning. It's not a classroom environment. It's not what your children are used to. So everybody's adjusting in this time. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Understand that self-care is very important. And I urge you, Lisa, you're going to have to take a moment or two to relax, find that time, you know, in order to, and I love the statement that I'm going to repeat here today, and I live by it, or I try to live by it and be more mindful of it, is fill your cup first. I've learned that. I think over the past 2 years, I've had wonderful experiences, and the support that I've had is phenomenal because I've shared my goals with the ones that I love. So I've been able to achieve that support, and I've realized that actually by filling my cup, I'm able to serve all those around me better. So even if it means taking 10 minutes to actually just do something by yourself, quietly by yourself, no work, no children, under lockdown, but do something that's fulfilling to you, you would find that once again you are resetting, you are reprogramming, and you are coming back to the fore. You can get back to your meetings, you can send your emails, you can help your child by being more fulfilled in the process. So that's where mindfulness comes in, where we say stop, look, and listen. Right? That's a powerful coaching technique that I'm sharing with you based on what we're just chatting about. Stop, look, and listen. Senses, sensory acuity. Okay? So sensory acuity, we're looking at engaging with our senses, engaging with our body. Our body is a part of our senses. So when we're looking at, I'm feeling tired. If I'm feeling tired, take a break. Right? If I'm feeling overwhelmed at the moment, take a break. But that's actually just getting in touch and not running on overdrive during lockdown. That's not going to get you anywhere. So when we're looking at the sensory acuity, that just comes back to our goals this evening, we are looking at that can be used at a span of things. It's just looking at understanding ourselves, our family environment, and just being present. So once you can identify your physiological, your body, how you feel, your psychological, your mental, your emotional state, then you'd be able to achieve so much more. Don't be hard on yourself. Everything feels different at the moment. Although we're 26 days, we're still learning every day. Remember, however how old you are, it's taken you so many years to get to where you are in terms of knowing yourself. Imagine our children. They know their routine. So this whole thing in 26 days, it's really very difficult for them to adjust. So understand that instead of wanting to achieve 100's great, but if you achieve 80, that's great too. So once you reset and reframe that, your day will look calmer, your day will look simpler, your energy that you are giving off in your home would change, okay? So you'd be able to tackle your work and speak to your family, say, this is my time to work, this is my time, and keep meals simple. If you are working from home, and I know I've been chatting to so many mums in the same situation, if you are working from home, keep that routine, keep those meal times, keep meals simple as you would do on a normal working day, because we're not superhuman at the same time. We're juggling the unknown right now, and that's fine. But how you do it, it's what's important. So that's my mindfulness live this evening. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to drop it below. I will try and get to them. And please do share if you haven't liked or followed to my page yet, Sankalpa Coaching with Krishangi Radhe, exactly where this live is being broadcast from. I will share it on multiple pages after this so we can have a great reach. I'm also still available online for coaching, one-on-one coaching, and you may drop me an email also or a direct message where we could look at your specific goals and how you can tweak, how you can become more flexible, how you can reframe, and how you can still achieve those goals within the months ahead. It's just a matter of reworking everything, and working with a coach is super important, because then you find yourself far more accountable. You then find that you would be able to work out a plan that's achievable, it's measurable, and it's really, really doable. So let's do this. Let's change our mindset. As of today, let's get out of the stuck version of quarantining and lockdown. Let's release that energy, and let's now engage with the mindset of a growth mindset. And I'd love for you to share this live on your page and with your friends, and comments. It will be saved under replay, and I'd love to hear from you. And that's it for this live. Be mindful as we go on with the rest of our days under lockdown and even beyond. Thank you for watching. This is Krishangi Radhe. We will talk again soon.